And we are live. Yay! Welcome, everybody. Day 2 of 3. And Shannon and I are here to talk about learning to love LinkedIn, as the beautiful title up here says. And today we wanted, so yesterday we focused on why LinkedIn above other social media platforms. Today we want to talk a little bit about what how to best utilize the algorithm and make sure that you post such that it actually makes sense and plays to your advantage. Before we go into that, Shannon, why don't you quickly introduce yourself? I'll do the same, and this way we have context about who we are, what we do, for those of you who are joining us new today. And please don't be shy, hit the comments. We had a really lively, wonderful conversation yesterday, and we are planning on doing the same thing today.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So good to be back with Nina and all of you. My name is Shannon Hernandez. I'm an email marketing and messaging strategist and have founded the company called Joyful Business Revolution, where we help business owners with big missions and even bigger hearts connect with their clients in ethical, loving, story-driven ways.
Yes, heck yes to that. And my name is Nina Fareep. I'm your host, and I am what I like to call a recovering film producer. Been in the business for over 30 years. These days, I am a LinkedIn featured content creator and LinkedIn expert, for however you want to interpret that. And I specialize in helping people with their LinkedIn content, creating it, figuring out how to be consistent with it, which is something we'll talk about a lot today, and also how to set up LinkedIn Lives, which is something we'll talk about a little bit more in tomorrow's session. So I can see that we have some of the same characters we had yesterday.
Yay!
Yay! So Diana Lidstone's back, Veronica Drake is back, Renee, I think you were with us yesterday as well. So welcome, welcome. Ask away. But we also have questions for each other, Shannon. So we will be we'll be at it for a good while today. So Shannon, what is your biggest sort of question? I mean, what was pleasing the algorithm a game that you played on Facebook, or was Facebook just sort of a free for all and you tried out things and it was what it was? How did that work?
Yeah, so I've never been one to hack algorithms, as you know.
Neither
I
have I. I
really,
just fell into it, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. In fact, I will still stand by this in terms of migrating from Facebook to LinkedIn, but it would go for email as well. I believe if you have great content,
Mhm.
it will do well.
Yes.
And so I dedicate all of my working time to helping people with their messaging, getting it laser focused, getting it specific, getting it relatable, getting it relevant, getting it, all the things that actually produces revenue. So I've never had to hack the algorithm, so to speak.
Mhm.
Now, when Facebook made some big changes, as we talked about yesterday, which
Yep.
is what has led me here to LinkedIn, there were changes that it made that really I find just quite freaking annoying to this day. I needed to go post something this morning, and it's going on LinkedIn tomorrow, and I'm like still trying to get my Facebook audience over. And it's like, I cannot even schedule this because you can't put a link in a post, it'll get blocked, right? So there's
Yeah.
some barriers there that I was just no longer willing to play around with. But I've never been one to hack the algorithm. I'm more interested in how do I create content that's just like so good people want to keep coming back for more.
Yeah. As you know, I'm 100% with you on that, and that's how I like to work with my clients. At the same time, I'm finding myself digging a little deeper into what makes the most sense on LinkedIn. So all that yummy content will at least have, it's like, getting your kid into the best school. Yes, your kid has to be brilliant and a kind person and a good person and all that to make it in life, but you also I'm talking and we both don't even have children, but
Well, I have a cat and you have a dog.
I have a dog, so there we go. But you still want to give it the best. You want to give your posts the best leg up to perform as well as it can, since you're going through all the work of creating this beautiful content. So do you post at a specific time, specific days, Shannon, or you just sort of post whenever?
Well, I try and post, I post, and I'll say I versus someone on my team, right? I post, always mines are Monday and Wednesday I try and post between 8:30 and 8:45. And I can do that now because I can schedule posts with all the necessary pieces and don't have to hope to remember to come back and drop a link in a comment, right? How I had to do on Facebook. And then we have Inbox Income goes out once a week. That's either on a Tuesday. That's usually on a Tuesday. And then Thursday, we kind of save it for other fun stuff that's going on in the business. But my posts are consistently, for the most part, Monday and Wednesday at 8:30, between 8:30 and 8:45. That just seems to be when my audience is having their coffee, checking in on LinkedIn, seeing what's going on, getting ready for their day. And so that's why I chose that particular time.
Excellent. And those are good choices. So, as far as the algorithm goes, and again, as much as I love talking about it, because it's in a world where everything changes all the time and everything is sort of, a big question mark, I find the algorithm to be soothing in a way, because it's a constant that of course changes and evolves all the time too. But there are a couple of sort of base truths that stay the same and that you can sort of hang your hat up on and know that if you stick to those basic couple of things, then you're at least not committing any algorithmic crimes, so to speak. So so posting, and you asked me at the end of yesterday's show, what was the one thing that was the most important thing to know about LinkedIn? And to me, without a doubt, that is consistency. LinkedIn loves consistency. The algorithm loves consistency. So if you're posting same day, same time every week, the algorithm will get to know you and will start serving you up to more and more people, in also not only in your audience, but also outside of your audience. And will start showing you to people that are, second or even third, removed connections, which is what you really want, because with time you want to bring new people into your ecosystem, which is why we're on social media to begin with, right?
Yeah. Okay, so that's a big thing, consistency. What would you say are two other things to pay attention to regarding making the algorithm love us?
Love us. Okay. So I think definitely, definitely the consistency. And then, as a second thing, and, tooting my horn or not put aside, we put together a 5 steps to a perfect LinkedIn post little infographic, which you can grab. I'll put it in the chat after the show. And it's just sort of, you want your posts to be easily graspable or readable. So these massive blocks of text are a massive no-no. You want to have single sentence paragraphs. You want to have a couple of emojis to lighten the whole thing up. You want it to be skimmable. And you will have a written text no matter what you do. By the way, Shannon, we have horrible feedback. Do you have the chat open on another? Okay, I'm just. I keep hearing myself, which is a little weird, and I don't think it's coming from me, but I'll just try and ignore it. So you want to make sure that your posts are readable and skimmable. And the same goes with your videos, right? You want to make you're creating content not for your own ego, you're creating content to help your audience. So make it easy for them to consume. So I think that will be number two. So it goes not just for text, it also goes for videos. No 5-minute videos. Heck, not even 3-minute videos. Make them short and snappy. People don't have a lot of time. And then the third thing I would say is, and this is not as much an algorithmic thing as an engagement thing. You always, always, always want to have a call to action. And a call to action is not a salesy thing. A call to action is an engagement thing. So you can have low friction and high friction call to actions. And just even if it's just like a low friction will be just asking a question so people feel compelled to answer the question and engage with you on your content on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay, good. And I'm really glad, Daniela, I see you here. So welcome. Nina, I'm sorry you're getting feedback. I have nothing open and our audience says they can't hear it.
Okay, good. As long as the audience can't hear it, I'll just try and stay focused.
Yeah, that's really hard too. I've been in that situation.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you just talked about the 2-minute video, like is fine, because Daniela is one of our clients and I was speaking with her yesterday in email and, you know, she said, I need to go do a 10-minute video. And I'm like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
And you don't need to edit it. Like, you don't need to do all these things. I want you to go live. That's her content personality. And I want you to have fun and don't feel like you have to go like a long time, right? Because some people, they wouldn't have the time to watch that anyway when they're looking. There's a time and a place for it.
Yeah, there's a time and a place. If it's behind the paywall, if it's in a course, that's one thing. But the videos that perform best on LinkedIn are 60 seconds and shorter. And since we always want to have that famous call to action at the end, you want to make sure that people watch to the end so they get to the call to action. And you can, of course, always repeat it again in the post, but make sure that your videos, you know, imagine people are scrolling through their LinkedIn feed. If I see a video longer than 90 seconds, I'm not even going to click on it.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, Daniela, yes, shorter is harder. And there's that famous quote by, I think it was Blaise Pascal, who said, sorry for the long letter. Had I had more time, I would have written you a shorter one. So it is, Daniela, it is a matter of you just learning to go in and do a video, a point that you're making, and then make it a series. If you have a lot to say, that's fantastic, but then make it 10 videos. And then you have, 10 weeks worth of content if you're posting a video a week. So just, that is a matter of you training yourself and of being disciplined with yourself and your content.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to congratulate Veronica. She was here yesterday. She said, I posted a video today and jumped right in and got into action. So
yay,
Veronica, good job. The other thing I want to say, and Nina and I are here, we're talking about kind of a lot of things, but that's what's fun about doing these is you get to hear both sides of our brains, right? So when I develop lead magnets for people for their email marketing, I develop them in such a way that seriously, and Nina has had a lead magnet designed by me for her marketing in the past. I developed those in such a way that every single point in the lead magnet could become its own video over and over and over and over again. So if you think about, just for an example, Nina, we did a quiz for you at one time, and it was the 5 video personalities. You could have easily gone live and talked because we had bullet points of identify each of those bullet points under the video personality is its own video and short content.
And we did that. So we created a video with several videos for each personality. It was 4. And we used those for years in our marketing. And it was something that we could recycle Everybody loves a quiz. The way we designed the quiz are not smarmy. There's no like, give me your email and your firstborn plus pay $90 to get your results. None of that. SHIT, as Shannon would say. And so it was, it like, if you have a checklist, like for instance, our 5 steps to a perfect LinkedIn post, I created 5 videos and I go through each of the steps in detail. And when I give away the lead magnet, you can go and watch those videos. We also are getting a lot of questions. There was one about hashtags, yes or no. On LinkedIn, resounding no hashtags anymore. This is a very recent development. It used to be actually the 7 steps to a perfect LinkedIn post. It became 5 because we could ditch the hashtags and there was something else we ditched. But the hashtags are really being replaced by AI today. So I will predict that hashtags will go away on Instagram and on Facebook within due time as well.
Yeah, I love that. And then just to come back to Daniela. So Daniela's mentioning projector, which is human design. She knows she's a projector. One of her marketing strategies is longer, engaging conversations, really getting the chance to know people. And so Daniela, here's what I want to say. Well, I want to say a couple things. One, as your coach, we are not going to push you out of alignment, but we do need to find what's going to work for you. So make sure you schedule a call with Amy so we can handle that. But 2, Daniela, if you really do want the longer time on live, partner up with somebody in your industry, in your niche, or cross industry like Nina and I have done, because interviews and live shows and series, it's a great interaction for live, but you still wouldn't want to do every video very long like this. Like we've got to do what works for ourselves, but also what works for what's going to make you money. And that's why I'm working with you.
And I think, Daniela, it's also, so, if you want that longer format, then do lives. Because that's what lives should be, at least 10 minutes, because it's going to take people a hot second to find you. So if you want to go longer content, you go lives, and you can go solo. I find that solo lives don't perform as well as what Shannon and I are doing, a conversation. But if you're doing pre-produced videos that you're uploading into your post, please make them shorter than 90 seconds. And what you can do to cheat, if you want to call it that, is create these longer videos and then use little snippets from those and use those for the short, I like to call them conversation highlights. I think that's always a very elegant way of thinking of it. So we want to work with how people's behavior is on LinkedIn. And I think that's something we didn't talk about yesterday, which is a huge differentiator between LinkedIn and all the other platforms. Your buying behavior and your browsing behavior and your mindset is very different when you're browsing on LinkedIn than if you are on Facebook. If I am on Facebook, I'm there to catch up with my friends and family in Switzerland, or people across the globe, and I'm not in a business mindset. So if a business thing pops up, I might just, because my business brain is not on at that point, I might just dismiss it offhand. If I am on LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn mostly for business and maybe some inspiration, right? So I will be looking for much different content and expect to be served much different content. And it's just in alignment, right? I'm getting what I'm looking for on LinkedIn more so than on any of the other social media platforms, where I might be just bombarded with God knows what, and it's coming left field. I'm looking for, I don't know, fun doggy videos, and all of a sudden it's like, here, I'm a coach, I'm going to change your life. I'm like, no, move over. I want to see the doggies again, right? So
and one of the decisions I made 16 months ago, as we talked about yesterday, not only coming to LinkedIn, which I've been playing with, for over a year, I took everything down on Instagram that had to do with this business. And I only use Instagram now for my art, to look at funny reels of kittens to find artists that I want to have fun with. And so I get what you're saying. In my brain, when I go to Instagram, I'm completely unplugged from, because I've created that. Now, I used to market my business on Instagram, not with great success, by the way, because I didn't like it. So I didn't do well at it. But I go to Instagram now. Veronica knows I'm always sending her shit in her messenger. Like, and you too, Nina. Like, I'm sending you guys art stuff and like fun food and nature crafts. But that's where I go to let my brain break. So I would imagine having the mindset of why do you go to the platform you go to helps you understand, one, what you want to get out of it, but two, why are people going there, right? This does not, I am not saying people are not doing business on Instagram. That is not what I'm saying. Like, there's plenty of people doing business on Instagram. All right. But what I'm saying is, for me, I wanted just a really fun place to go and unplug and look at fun art and like watch people style clothes and all that kind of stuff I'm into these days. Right. So I think that's really important. And it's a good point. I want to go back to
Me too.
Renee. And by the way, Renee, I sent you a WhatsApp not long ago. You may have seen it already. But Nina, you talked about a low friction call to action and a high friction call to action.
And I didn't give an example for the high friction, right? So the low friction was something that is like people just can't help themselves do. It's very easy and quick. The highest friction call to action that I can think of on LinkedIn would be buy my course or book a call with me. And book a call with me seems to be fairly low friction, and maybe was 5 years ago, but no longer today. So asking people to book a call with you really means that they're already like in a phase where they know they have a problem. They know you can address the problem, and they're considering you to be the person who solves that problem for them. And they're considering buying from you. Otherwise, they're not going to waste their time or your time booking a call. So that is considered a fairly high friction call to action. And then, of course, if you have a course, I mean, if it's a $50 or $7 thing is one thing, but if it's a couple of $1,000 thing, that is a call to action I would never put directly into LinkedIn like that, because it doesn't go anywhere, right? So I want to have small stepping stones out of the world. I have this beautiful graphic I use sometimes where it's like, how are you meeting people and how much credibility do you have? And if you're at the low totem pole of it and they just searched their problem on LinkedIn or on Google, on search engine, and they find you, they don't know you from anybody else, right? So you cannot just fall in with the door into the house and say, hey, buy a $5,000 thing from me. That's what the free lead magnets are for. But if you meet somebody in an environment like Shannon and I are in, there's already a lot more trust. There's already a lot more established rapport. If you meet me in person at a networking event, then it's absolutely appropriate for me to give you my business card and say, if this interests you, what we just talked about, do you want to book a call so we can discuss further? But that would be super inappropriate if you just came off the internet and just heard for the first time ever of, a Shannon or a Nina, and we'd be like, oh, here, book a call with me. It's like, why would I? Right? I don't know you. So it's like those people who spam you on the DM on LinkedIn and they're like, oh, I can do your website. I'm like, no, you can't. You have who I am. So no, you're not.
Yeah. I want to talk about a couple things here. So, call to actions are interesting beasts. I know as a copywriter, as a messaging strategist. And so I want to give everyone a little tidbit that I think has made me millions off of social in general. I give publicly and I sell an email. I'm going to say that again.
Yep.
I give my knowledge publicly. We have a free thing. Here's a marketing office hours. Here's an interview. You want to meet Nina, whatever it is. Look at what I did with Meredith's lead magnet, whatever, right? Testimonials. Give publicly, sell privately. which is in your email. And it's one of the things until now, Nina, I probably need to write on this because I had not even thought, but I have been kind of following this personal framework for the last 6 years. And it's why I think people come back to me and come back to my social and stay on the email list, is because they're getting a lot of value on social, but they also know if they want to buy something. I mean, you can always hit me up on social, y'all. DM me if you want to work with me, right? Like, my DMs are open, my comments are open. But where I'm going to really talk to you about coming into a program, buying the sales page, revision package, or whatever, it's going to be over an email. And so I think if everyone could just take away from that, I think that's what would make your social and your email work better together. Give publicly on social, sell privately through email.
I think that's a brilliant quote. I will quote you on that.
Oh, thank you. I will quote myself if I even remember.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about in
Yep.
terms of algorithm, which I think is important, it's not necessarily algorithm on LinkedIn, but one of the big things that got me, because I have a content brain, I have a strategy brain. I used to do SEO before it got really convoluted and sophisticated. But when I heard 14 or 16 months ago that basically LinkedIn was it, and you all can do this, type your name in Google and see what comes up. LinkedIn's going to be up there in the top, and it's because they work very well together. And so, Nina, do you have any insight on this?
On the Googling part?
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
But and having said that, who owns, well, Microsoft owns both companies. That's why. No, Google is not owned by Microsoft. LinkedIn is, but I think Google and Microsoft are in a very close relationship, and I think that's why. If you were to not Google but Bing or whatever any of these other search engines are, that would actually be worth a little experiment. See what happens, right? If LinkedIn still would be so the truth of the matter is, yes, if you Google yourself, LinkedIn will be, if not the first, one of the first things that will pop up before Facebook or any other social media, and it will offer your LinkedIn up. I think it's because there's probably a close working relationship between the two, because all of this is controlled. Yeah, Google is Alphabet and LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft, but I would imagine that there's a close relationship there, but I do not know for a fact. So thank you for something I don't know.
Today I needed to go find a article I wrote back in last year, and I only knew part of the name of it. So I'm like, what was the name? It was called Email Marketing Playbook for Coaches. I remembered that part. And so I went and I was like, oh my God, I got to find the link. I was looking for the link on my own website. Like, I wanted to link people to my blog post. And what did I find when I typed it in? Email Marketing Playbook for Coaches, Shannon Hernandez. It was on LinkedIn in my newsletter. It was on LinkedIn in a post. It was on Medium published. I finally got to where it was on my own website. And so this is why it's really important that everyone understands these things do work together if you have the strategy and you know how to make them work together.
Okay. And then there is, so I love that you're giving this example. So many moons ago, I would say about whatever 12 times 7 is, right? Now I have to do the math. 84. There we go. 84 moons ago, somebody very smart said to me, I was blogging back then. It was pre-video, your own videos. That if you post a blog, post it first on the one place that you want to be the originator, and then wait at least 3 days. I don't know whether nowadays it's still 3 days. Nowadays it's probably 3 minutes. But wait a significant amount of time before you go to then putting it on LinkedIn, Medium, Quora, wherever else you're going with it, or Substack, because the web crawlers will go in chronological order. So if you want your website to pop up as the first and as the source, put it there first, wait, and then post it everywhere else. And that is something I learned years and years and years ago. And that's probably what happened. You might have posted too quickly in succession in all these places. And
well, I'll tell you what happens, because I pay someone way smarter than me to do my SEO research.
That's smart. Yep.
Yes, because it has changed. And just like algorithms change, the SEO strategy has changed over the years. So kind of the rule now actually is you cannot post the same. It used to be if I picked up a blog that I had copy and paste a blog that I put into my website, wait 3 days, and then go copy and paste it and put it on Medium, or copy and paste it and put it on LinkedIn, it would be okay. It was not violating what we call a duplicate content rule.
Yep.
Not anymore. So not only are we having to, which is not a bad thing, I don't mind it. All those examples I just gave in LinkedIn, Inbox Income, that's my LinkedIn newsletter, my blog, Medium, they all have variations on the title, and all of the content has never been published in its whole original context except on the blog. We take pieces of it so we don't get duplicate content penalized, basically. It's become really sophisticated. And I think this is really important. Like, as part of this conversation here, I know we're here to talk about LinkedIn, but your content strategy needs to make sense to everything you're doing.
Yep. Yep.
Right? Like, we can no longer say, oh, Nina only does LinkedIn, because she doesn't only do LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Right? I can no longer say, oh, I just do email. I mean, I've never said that because I got to get people somewhere, but I use my blog. I'm investing in SEO this last year and this year. The results are paying off. We are getting the traffic. People are booking sales calls. We don't know who these people are. They're telling us they found us on a blog that we put, but I have paid a lot of money to get the SEO strategy working. And that's always been important to me as a long form content creator.
Yeah.
So all of this is a little off the rails, but it all talks, we're talking about this because your LinkedIn, whatever you're publishing, is going to show up when people Google your name in Google. It will, whether you do SEO or not. So make sure you're putting good shit out there, people.
Yeah. And I think this is really, last year was that big watershed moment, actually end of the year before last, 23 into 24, where my business partner and I were sitting there going like, ha, 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 we told you so. Because there was just like this huge shift which went from, content and your website, everything was about your website, and everything was mobile first. Sorry, not mobile first. That was 5 years ago. Everything was social selling first, right? And we're now at a point where it is more important to have a good looking professional and smart LinkedIn profile than it is to have your website. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have a website at all. I'm just saying it is hugely, if I meet somebody, anybody, be it in a networking event, be it at a bar, not that I go to bars anymore, but anyway, if I hypothetically were to go to bars and still pick up people there, the first thing I do is I Google them and I go on LinkedIn, right? I will go on LinkedIn before I go anywhere else. Now, am I LinkedIn biased? Of course I am, but everybody is on LinkedIn, right? And if I see a dead profile, I see that dreaded gray, light blue thingamajig, for the background. If you don't have a photo, I'm out. But also, if you have your last post is 3 months or older, you don't have to post to get back to the algorithm. You do not have to post on LinkedIn every single day. You don't want to post more than once in a 24-hour span because you actually get penalized for posting more than that. And I have clients who get high ticket people off of LinkedIn buying from them with posting once a week. But we put a lot of care into what we're posting. We're making sure that it's really good content, because if somebody comes and checks them out, all they want to see is that this person has positive interactions, because we can see what your latest comments are and the comments you're giving as well as getting. and we want to see what your latest posts are, and not just keep sharing other people's shit without commenting or giving your own opinion. It's fine to share other people's stuff, but then write your own 2 cents with it, why you're sharing it. It's like, those annoying people who forward you an email and say FYI, and then you spend the next 5 minutes of your life that you'll never get back again trying to figure out what the what FYI, what referred to. Was it the title? Was it the attachment? Was it the body of the email? I don't know. So just make sure that you're, audience friendly.
Yeah. So Nina, let's talk about the algorithm in terms of commenting, because it's big.
It's big. It's very big.
Okay. So y'all, first thing I want you to know, if you've been using Facebook, we were trained on Facebook inadvertently to drop our own links in a comment because we can't put it there. So we were almost always the first commenter. You cannot be the first commenter on your LinkedIn post. It doesn't help the algorithm at all. It's not a help. However, what I've learned from Nina is, which I think is pretty brilliant. She will plan her post, let's say Wednesday at 9:30. She has blocked the next hour afterwards, and she's commenting to the comments that come through.
Yep.
Now, Nina, why is that so important to do that in a timely manner?
So, I mean, there's like 4 different things we're addressing here. So let me do the last one first, because I still remember, and you can prompt me through the other ones. So the commenting strategy is the algorithm on LinkedIn, and this is about to change. I have to preface this. This is about to change. But until like this very minute right now, we're still running under the assumption that the moment you post, you have a 1-hour window, then you have a 4-hour window, an 8-hour window, and a 24-hour window. In that first 1-hour window, if you get enough engagement on your post, and it's likes and comments, which are considered the engagement, not views, the LinkedIn algorithm will go like, this is an interesting post. A lot of people are engaging with it. Let me put it in front of more people, and people that might not even be within Nina's, immediate first connections. And it can go to first connection, second, and in very rare instances, also in thirds. And that's when it goes viral. So you want to make sure that you have a minimum of engagement with your posts in that first hour, to make sure that the algorithm recognizes your post. So that is one of the reasons why that consistency part that I mentioned yesterday, and again at the head of the show today, is so important, because the LinkedIn algorithm learns to look for your content. I post every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 10 a.m. sharp, be it scheduled or not. So, and then there's I'm in cahoots with a couple of people where we have agreed that we all post it around that time frame, and then look at each other's content and give it some love. And that just then allows our content to not just get love from these people, but gets elevated by the algorithm and gets shown to even more people. There are ways to do this properly, and ways where it is considered spammy. And this here is not the place to talk about that in detail, but just be aware that there's ways to do it such that you're not violating the contract that you, without knowing, agreed to upon with LinkedIn when you created your profile. You want to make sure you stay clear of any spammy tactics or massive sort of automated liking and commenting, right? Another thing that is coming hot off the press is any kind of AI commenting will penalize the poster. So if you see AI commenting on your posts, I know, woot woot.
Thank God.
Please call out the people who are doing that. I run an engagement group, which does the ethical thing. We had a lovely person who is all in on AI, and they did comment on AI, and I asked that person to stop doing it, because it was, I mean, if it's just 1 out of 30 comments, it's probably not going to like kill your post, but it's just, commenting has, the numbers are staggering. It's like 300% X'd the AI commenting, and LinkedIn is cracking down on it. Thank God. So don't do that. Now, you want to post, if you're posting more than once within a 24-hour rhythm, know that you will get less and less engagement from the LinkedIn algorithm. You will still get more cumulative, but you're getting a much lesser bang for your buck per post. So why bother? The other thing that you had mentioned is, and it's a big discussion, and it always changes a little bit here and there, is links, putting links into the post, right? Yes or no? A lot of us do it because we have lead magnets or we have a workshop to sign up for. We kind of have to. Rules have changed greatly and they keep shifting. Just know that if you put an external link in your post or in the comments, or you post and then edit your post afterwards and insert a link, all of that will result in your posts getting maybe anywhere between 30 and 10% less engagement, but it's sort of the necessary evil. And it's a discussion I have ongoing with my VA who helps me with the posting, where, it's like, oh, like this year, the algorithm report is coming out and they're saying it's the best thing is to put it just in and forget about it. The best thing is to edit, put it in after. The rules keep changing. I just think if you focus on a really good content strategy, don't worry about these percentages. They're just there to drive you crazy. The one thing I tell my people, and that's the other thing that we ditched when we went from 5 steps to 7 steps to 5 steps of how to create the perfect LinkedIn post, is do not put your link in the first comment. LinkedIn doesn't like it if you're your first commenter. And secondly, if your content gets shared, that link gets lost.
Yep.
And there's nothing as annoying as somebody sharing a workshop and then you want to sign up and you're rummaging through 3 or 4 or 5 links until you finally get the link, right? Or you get to the origin post. If you have a link for people to download something or sign up for something, put it into the freaking post and just eat the percentage you lose in terms of algorithmic love.
Yeah, I love that. So we have another Veronica comment that I want to address.
Yep.
Because Veronica is also a client who's jumping into LinkedIn. She's been doing a fantastic job, by the way, this past year. Veronica, as a video content personality, I'm wondering how I could possibly do a video for 60 seconds that is meaningful. Okay, when I read that 5 minutes ago, I had about 100 videos from your content like download into my brain. But I'm going to give you a very practical thing I think you should go do. And I would tell anyone this. So if you're not a coaching client of mine, you're going to get some free advice right here today. Veronica, we've made you a beautiful lead magnet around the elements and how to be more in tune with your natural earth, your natural element, as a, spiritually aligned. If you took that content and picked it up out of that Google Doc and put it in ChatGPT and you said, hey, buddy, that's my name for ChatGPT. Hey, buddy, here's the content. I want a list of 30, 60-second topics I could talk about on LinkedIn. You will have 30 days worth of videos. Okay. So I'm no longer going to let people continue to do this. Yeah, but, especially people that are in my orbit who are clients of mine, because first layer, you have high converting things because my brain did that shit. Second layer is go use the tools you have, ask the intelligent question of ChatGPT and get over the hurdle. And let's get going on your 60-second videos. Look, she says I'm on it. Like, she knows.
And again, people, you're teasing people, right? It's snackable content. We are sometimes so stuck in our heads over all the things that we want to get out and need to get out. And we really, all we want to do is get people to engage with us. That's the whole game that we're playing on LinkedIn, right? Is how can I get, Tom Smith, who's been hanging out in the background for 2 years watching what I do, to go like, ooh, and write a response or write or like my content such that I know who he is, right? Because if I don't know who the person is lurking, I have no way of engaging them in a conversation and learning more about their needs and exploring whether I am the right person to support them with their needs, right? So it's really, and that's why I keep saying, other than the consistency part and making the content audience centric, have a call to action that engages people, because otherwise, why bother posting on LinkedIn at all?
Yes. Nina, I think we should add, if you can write this down so we remember, I want to add something to tomorrow's lineup just because we're at
Yes.
capacity today. But there may be people watching this video and they're like, okay, wow. So I just want people to engage with the content. Well, how do I make a sale? That's a valid question. And it's a question that I, as the queen of organic marketing, which I did not give that name to myself, I might add, how do you move people from a comment to an email list or a comment to a DM? We're going to talk about thought leadership on LinkedIn tomorrow, how you position yourself as a trusted voice. I think that is where we can have that conversation, because as everyone knows, sales happens in conversations.
Yeah.
So how do you move the conversation along in a way that's not spammy, in a way that's serving both people, right? And in a way that increases your sales and revenue? Because at the end of the day, we need to make some money, y'all.
Yep.
We're in business.
We're in business. And I have something for tomorrow as well. It's a question I didn't ask you today. And you, out of all people that I know, I want to have you answer that question, which is about the balance between personal and professional storytelling. And I have some very strong opinions about that too, and they're slightly different from yours probably. So I think that would be also a part of a ongoing interesting conversation for tomorrow.
So are we going to duke it out tomorrow, Nina? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah, we're duking it out. Yes. And then I'm going to get in my car and drive over to Jersey and give you a hug. Anyway.
I would love that. Actually.
So airline, we're like what, 2 miles away from each other. It's just that we have to, get through all the tolls and the bridges to get to one another physically. So thank you all for hanging out with us today and being such an engaged audience again. This is wonderful. So tomorrow, same place, same time, we will continue the conversation about Learn to Love LinkedIn. And tomorrow's official title is Elevating Your Thought Leadership on LinkedIn. Position yourself as a trusted voice in your industry. And in particular, we want to talk about lives, which is this year. And we want to talk about newsletters. And we'll duke it out on the how much personal information are we sharing on social media or on LinkedIn in particular. Thank you. And this is those of you who are watching the replay, please do comment. You can just make sure to mention Shannon and me. This is not a one and done video, right? That's one of the beauties of live. This lives on. The conversation is ongoing. So please still keep commenting. Still keep asking questions. We'll answer them.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Bye.